Welcome back to another episode of Redefine Her. Today we're talking about how Black women, me, myself, and I, how we were not taught how to be loved. Get in this room. Hey, Black woman, welcome to Redefine Her. It's a space where we talk about healing, choosing yourself, and breaking free from everything that told you your needs didn't matter. Today's episode is titled, We Were Not Taught How to Be Loved. And this one is personal, but it's also collective because I've been sitting with this thought lately. We are a generation of Black women who were not taught how to date, and we were not taught how to be loved, but we were taught how to survive. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about blame. This is about truth, a truth that lives in our bodies, our relationships, and our silence. So let's get to the root of what this is, which is hyper independence. Let's talk about where this comes from. Now, Dr. Joy Degree in her work on post-traumatic slave syndrome breaks down how historical trauma passed down through generations continues to shape the way Black families navigate safety, emotional expression, and survival. In many ways, Black women were groomed to be the backbone of their families, expected to endure, expected to give, but rarely taught how to receive. This legacy of strength became our identity, but it also became our cage. Now, research by Abrams, Hill, and Maxwell coined the term strong Black woman schema. It's a framework describing how Black women are socialized to suppress vulnerability, prioritize caregiving, and internalize emotional labor. While this can foster resilience, it also leads to burnout, isolation, and difficulty receiving love. Right? But the question is, but if you're always a strong one, then when do you get to be held? Right? When do you get to prioritize your needs? When do you get to center yourself? When do you get to have other people center yourself? And so we know that we are still feeling the effects of slavery, right? That we saw our ancestors fight for their lives so that we could be here right now. We saw our grandparents struggle. And then there was just this idea of the American family, right? You having the jobs, the 2.5 kids and the dog, and you buy your home. That was the American dream. And so as we've been evolving, and we've seen what that American dream has looked like behind the scene for a lot of women. A lot of women are married, but they're being abused, right? A lot of women are married, right? They do have the kids, but they're being raped inside of their marriages, and just a slew of other things. And so there was a need for women, mothers, to come and tell their daughters, say, hey, when you get older, you're going to go to college, you're going to go get a degree, you're going to learn how to take care of yourself, you're going to be independent, right? Insert the millennials. So that's us. So again, still feeling the impact of slavery, and we as Black folks are still trying to find our way into freedom. And so these researchers have coined this framework of how we as Black women have been navigating that. And also, again, we're a part of this history. If you are a Black woman, you've been seeing how this plays out right now in like our inability to get in intimate relationships, why that's always a problem, why these degrees that we were told to get seem like a scam and a sham now. We haven't been able to buy homes, all of that. And so they said, hey, we want you to be able to take care of yourself. But they had no idea the impact of what that was going to put on us. Okay, thus keeping us in a hyper independent mode with high anxiety and just being disconnected from ourselves. So we were failed, right? But we were failed, but we don't have to fail ourselves. And so one of the ways that we can get to the bottom of this and get through this is to name it, right? And again, to say we were failed is to just call out the inconsistencies in this plan that, was essentially, a plan that hadn't been put into place before. So they tried it out on us, and this is the impact of it. But we also failed. We failed by our families. We were failed by systems. We were failed by silence, right? People are not really giving us the real deal and letting us know how we could best navigate the world. I'm pretty sure people were doing the best that they can. But you know what I always say about that. Sometimes they're doing the best that they can. Sometimes their best is trash. And so these systems, this silence and how we were failed, it all comes from these outdated models of love rooted in sacrifice and survival. And so for many of us, dating has been more about proving we're worth it than simply being seen. All right, I'm going to say that again. And so for many of us, dating has been more about proving we're worth it than simply being seen. And it's not even just about dating. It's just in life in general. Just being accepted in general, feel like you're worthy. Around family members, in the jobs, in your solopreneur business, whatever it is that you are pursuing career-wise. It was really about, we always have to prove that we're worth it. We were taught how to protect ourselves, but not how to be open, not how to be loved in ways that don't cost us our peace. And so there's a book by Skylar Bell called All About Love, and it says, to know love, we have to invest time and commitment. Dreaming that love will save us, solve all of our problems, or provide a steady state of bliss is a deception. Or like my therapist would say, magical thinking. But hell, I want to hope somewhere, right? I got to hope that it's better than what it is right now. And so whatever I have to do to get my mind in a state of staying in hope, it might lead me into deception and or magical thinking. But hey, better than sometimes the destruction. And so we just weren't taught this. We were given Disney fairy tales or nothing at all. We were taught to want partnership, but not how to build one. Certainly not how to let ourselves be nurtured. Okay, you hear this a lot of times when you're dating, or even like us as Black people, and me being a solopreneur and working for 17 years, as an entrepreneur, and always having to go prove my worth. They say they want me, but then now you're showing me how worthy you think I am by now we're negotiating my rate. It's just too much. I'm just tired of it, and a lot of this has to do with me being Black and me also being a woman. So it's just coming from everywhere, right? It's coming from family systems. It's coming from our careers. It's coming from just life in general. Because even in your family, right? You are the woman who are like, you're even though you're a millennial, you could see yourself becoming the new matriarch. Okay, you want to make sure everybody gets together. You want to make sure the food is cooked. That we're going to do family trips. All of that. You know who you are. You are the matriarch in training. Who nobody gave you that title. Nobody told you to do it. But in your effort to always have to perform, to prove your worthiness, or to just be valuable and or seen, this is like what we do. And so there's no room for nurturing there. There's no room for holding space for that, because those people you are serving want you to keep on abandoning yourself. And so now the question is, how do we begin to relearn? How do we change this? How do we unlearn what never served us and create a new legacy for ourselves? See, we get to do that. And I like to call it recommit to the life you always deserve, right? Because you know who always said we deserve it? God, our Father, who thou art in heaven. He said that abundance is ours, that we deserve rest and Sabbath and stillness and silence. That is our birthright. That is a necessity. That we will experience burnout if we don't do these things. And here's the thing, it doesn't even honor God. So how do we change this? Let me offer a few starting points here. So number one, we want to grieve, right? And we grieve by naming the pain. We name the pain of not being loved well. We allow the tears. That grief is sacred. And so you know that you haven't been loved well, and that could be in life and or work, family members, friendships, whatever it is. Name it. Call it out. Call a thing a thing. You're going to have more power, and it's going to immediately give you a direction of where you should go in that situation. And at best, it's going to help you to calm down your nervous system. Number two, you're going to build your capacity to receive. Now, this one is very hard. I literally feel like this is my life's work. And this is one of the reasons why God purposed me to do this work of helping other women break free from self-abandonment and reclaim their power in their life and in their work. It's because I, more than anyone else, needed to really understand what rest is. How to receive help, how to receive a compliment, how to be cared for, how to be loved for. See, I remember when I first started this was around, I don't know if it was 2017 or 2019, because two different things happening upon me birthing this business. But I heard God say that, Toya, your problem is never going to be you giving love. You are that. You embody what to give love. He said, but your problem is going to be receiving love. That is going to be your biggest problem. And I tell you, I've been on this journey for about 7 years now, and I cannot believe how hard it is for me to receive love. And so I am still on a journey building my capacity to receive it. And so that is what you can begin to do to relearn, and recommit to the life that you deserve. Number 3, we should seek safe places for emotional release and reparenting, whether it's therapy, coaching, trusted sisterhood. Healing doesn't happen in isolation, right? God said we were meant to have people around, right? And I know that more than anything because when I first started my personal development journey, like I had a whole bunch of people who I call kind of friends, right? I coined that term, kind of friends, because it's like you kind of like me, but you don't. Kind of like me when it benefits you, but like when it really got tough, you weren't around. And so I knew that I needed to have safer spaces because I had things like my health going on, I had things like navigating toxic relationships, just wanted to be around healthier people. And so, even as I've been continuing navigating life challenges, I am seeing how I'm being covered, how I'm in safe spaces now, purely off of the work that I did in the beginning of my development. So that's why the time is now to start that transformation, right? You have to start choosing yourself. Like you must decide. Like no one, nothing else has to matter except for the life you want to really get to. That's how you do that, and know that those safe spaces are on the other side of that. And so I just want to also just point out that in these safe spaces, you get to be like human. I always say I want to meet everybody as a human being. That's people say, why do I do this work, right? I do this work, and why am I good at this work? Because I meet you as a human being. And I got that from working with celebrities. People say, how do you get these celebrities? How does it keep on working out? Why do they keep calling you? I said, it's because I meet them as a human being. At our core, no matter what, how we see ourselves, how the world sees us, at our core, we are human beings. So for me, that's how I like to start off my relationships. And according to Harris Perry, Black women often experience misrecognition in society, being seen as everything but human. So reclaiming our humanity, our softness, our right to be nurtured, that's revolutionary. And so I believe that I was able to be successful as a solopreneur without needing to have a manager and or an agent, because I really understood that being around that high profile client, what I really wanted to do was reclaim their humanity, meet them as a human being. And I believe that it was revolutionary work and bringing that work into my life work as well. So last but not least, we want to rewrite the model of love we inherited. Not one based on suffering, but one based on softness, reciprocity, and peace. Right? At this point, if you've been here, you've been listening to this podcast or seeing any of my work, you have to really get in tune with who you are, right? I call it behind every face is a story, right? I love that title because it means that I'm going to make no assumptions about you. I'm going to allow you to tell me who you think you are, the life you live, your feelings, your emotions, all of it. You get to write that. I don't get to choose that for you. And so once you also get to write that story, and we do this in different ways when I coach coach women. Sometimes it's in narrative form, sometimes it's in question form, whatever it is. But what you'll find is that you'll begin to see what you identify with, like what's really your identity outside of like the main things. I'm Black, I'm a woman, things like that. But also your characteristics, right? Your achievements, your values, right? Your priorities. What do you prioritize? All these things are important so that you can assess to see if that really lines up with who you are at your core as you're rediscovering who you are, but also to change some things that don't fit in anymore, that never really probably fit in. Again, I talk about the Patent Leather Project and how I got the name. Number one, God sent that name to me. As soon as he said, you're going to call it the Patent Leather Project, you're going to help women unlearn stuff, I knew it was because there was a real big need to help women unlearn unhealthy patterns, identities that they were forced into, right? Conditioning, societal conditioning. And so the patent leather shoe represents that, the outfit that you wear on Easter, like this make it look good, make it look on the outside, let's people please, let's show up in our Sunday's best, our Easter best. But on the inside, who are you? Who are you outside of all of that? Who are you really? Or did you just make yourself palatable for society, right? Or in this case, when you were dressing your kids up, or when I was being dressed up as a child, was I being dressed to be palatable for society? And Patent Leather Project seeks to break free from all of that, okay? And rediscover who you are, recommit to the life you deserve, live your best life. So in closing, right, we're learning now. So maybe you were never taught how to be loved. Maybe no one ever said you don't have to earn this. Maybe love felt like labor, like proving, like exhaustion. But now you know. Now you see, and that's where the shift begins. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. You don't have to abandon yourself to be chosen. You don't have to shrink to be kept. You are worthy of a love that doesn't ask you to disappear. So today, choose softness, choose healing, choose yourself. Because we may not have been taught how to be loved, but we are learning now, and we are learning together. And so if this episode resonated with you, I want you to share it with another Black woman who's on her journey. And if you're ready to do the deeper work of relearning love, recommitting to the life you deserve, reclaiming your power, right? Creating a life that's authentically and fulfilling, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. I am all across social media. It's Latoya Deshawn, LatoyaDeshaun. You can meet me everywhere there. Go on the website, patentleatherproject.com. Go ahead and see what I'm all about, what I offer, the community that I'm building, all that good stuff. And then if you want some coaching, then you're going to reach out to me. Go to patentleatherproject.com. You're going to sign up for coaching. If you know you are ready, go ahead and sign right up. And you can also reach out to me for an interest call to see if this is your time to be getting personal professional development coaching, and then also if I'm the right person to work with you. So yeah, go to patentleatherproject.com, you guys, and follow me on Latoya Deshawn everywhere. I will see you guys in the next episode.